Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where is she going, Miss Rad?
Oh, I don't know. Where should she go? She's not in LA.
She looks like she's going to a ball.
Yeah, she's in some state where the infection rate is low. So she can go get dressed up and go somewhere.
Or
I am
maybe
so
she's going
jealous.
to an opera.
Yeah, I'm so jealous because other people that live in areas where it's not a huge threat, they're already out there having a life.
Yeah, it's true. Arizona, all the everything's open. Mostly everything is open. You just
Well,
gotta wear a mask, but not even everyone wears masks out there.
yeah. Okay, I made a mess over here, but I might be able to like figure out some kind of background so it looks like I meant it. So you think it looks like the opera? Maybe I'll
Something fancy.
maybe I'll make it look like I just keep making mess with my finger. My finger keeps hitting. That's why I got all these little messes. I don't know, trying to make it look like columns. Now it just looks like scenery and ruins. Let's see. You don't want it to take away. I'd like it a little darker on the inside. Oh, that's cool. Now you could go a little mixed media after you're done creating your wash and it's dried. You could add real ink and you could add white gel pen. So I don't know if this is, what was that? Oh, my taping, my weight on my tape. Okay, I need to add something to hold that down and it fell off. It's fascinating, all the things to learn about creating an illustration on the internet. That in itself is like a whole new world. So I'm using my Tombow, and I didn't really wait for it to dry because that's why I'm getting just a little bit of smear. And I'm back into this wet thing I keep touching. It's not bad, but it will get rid of my rough pencil lines if I don't want that rough pencil line. I think that's a pretty neckline. I think it's flattering on most people. So I can take a white gel pen that hopefully will, okay. Maybe big hoops wouldn't be so good, but maybe, oh, it's not enough. Let's see if this one will be. Wait, I know which one it is. Why didn't I use it? I'm just using my finger to smear it. So it looks like the light created that highlight. And even her hair, just smooth it with my finger. So it just looks like the light hit it. Put some in the handbag. So that just gives you a little bit of, I'll put a little bit other color in there. I like to mix like 2 or 3 colors. It always makes it look better. Gives it more interest. Yeah, just a little bit. Created a nice diagonal. Might go a little bolder. My paper's still really wet, very dangerous, because you could tear your paper. You really should like wait between applications, because I know better. Nothing like having a great sketch with a hole in it. But I could go just a little bit darker because I added more depth. It just gives it a little bit more. So I've added a lot of water to it. It's starting to ripple a little bit. I know better to stop while I'm ahead. There's ways to avoid that. You water down your paper first and you tape it down on a board and let it dry, and then it won't do that at all. But who's got time to do all that? Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you can do with these cute little brushes. I don't remember the price. I bought them on a boring day. I was shopping Amazon with no intention of buying anything, and I ended up buying these in all different brush tips, and I enjoy them. They're fun. So I think if you want, oh, I also bought a cute little kit. Let me show you. One of my students had this kit, and I just thought, oh, that thing is cute. So it's a little tiny portable kit, and then it has little tiny paint, and this is a sponge, and when you get it wet, you just stick your brush in it, and it helps dry it off, and it can get it moist too if you get one of them moist. So this one's nice too for traveling, and it's just very compact. It's fun. Okay, so I'm going to go to the internet and explore making a mood board. I don't know if any of you have done this already. Oh, wait, somebody's asking me a question. Oh, good morning. No, it's just asking me a question. Okay, so here is, I'm sharing the screen. Here is Pinterest. And I typed in mood boards for fashion designers. And every semester when I teach, there's something new up here. Like there weren't mood board templates when I looked the last time. And so there you go, free mood board templates, if that helps you. But I'm looking for inspiration to create a design. So I've done one long dress. I now have a top and a skirt left for a woman, and then I have 2 outfits for a man. So I'm just looking for inspiration. And let's see, 25 mood board vector templates. So that's nice. Create a mood board. Okay, so nothing's popping out at me at the moment. I'm gonna write, again, I'm gonna go back to architecture. Architectural gates. Last time I did one on gates, yeah, and the gates helped me get ideas for design. I have one on my Instagram in my highlights. There's a dress that I did, but that's a pretty cool gate right there. It looks very similar to the one I used for, so I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna go over here to, maybe I can find it, I don't know how adventurous I am getting lost here. Okay, so if I go to my highlights, maybe I can find it. Okay, there it was. So that gate, I created that lace and that dress. Okay, it doesn't stay very long. And then it came in 3 colors. So yesterday I did like an embroidered crystal applique top. So I'm going to put I want to get out of there. Go back to my mood board. Yeah. So I'm going to do my lace because I haven't created my lace yet. I demonstrated a lace to you, but I haven't created a design. So I'm going to use bond paper, I think, to create the design on, because I really want nice smooth lines. Let's see. Unless I want to put my design with my dress, which I could. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm on textured paper. I don't want to use that for backing. I'll just use some other paper for backing. I don't even know what paper this is. Okay, there, I've got a nice backing. So I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to start debating. Do I want to use a pencil or do I want to use an ink pen? So I'm going to start with about a 3-inch square. So now I'll measure it. Because a 3-inch square gives me room to create a nice design. If I go too small, I really can't get much in the way of design. So what I did on that one is I left the scalloped edge open so I could create it. So I'm looking at this design. See if I can get it to go bigger. Okay, it's cute. So I'm looking at it for design ideas. I like, let me turn it. I like that it has a little circular curve, and then it has the filigree. So this is helping me, and I'm making it asymmetrical. It's not perfect. And it has just, obviously I can't get a lot. That's going to be my fringe and my scallop. So I've got to think about how I'm going to create it. So it's going to be a scallop. So it'll be kind of like ovals and it'll repeat. And I like the long fringe. I just think it's different and new. I already bought an outfit with one of those. Okay, so I'm getting some ideas. It has a thick border, and then it has leaves. So I'm gonna put some leaves. So whether it comes out of your head or whether you use something for inspiration, you're still creating. Just there's so many different ways to process and create. But I'm getting some ideas. And then when you get to the fabric company that's going to manufacture your lace, then you find out all kinds of things you can't do, and then you have to adjust it. They do have online places where you can create fabric. I have yet to try it, but it's very affordable. The Spoonflower website, it's only about $25 to have a couple of yards made. And I've always thought it'd be a fun class project, but I've never gotten around to it. But has anybody tried it? What? I didn't hear you.
You're talking about Swoop, right?
I'm talking about Spoonflower.
Oh, Spoonflower.
So you've tried another one called Scoop?
I think it was Spoonflower. I think I had a hard time navigating it.
Oh, so you have tried to make it very.
I found that, like, I don't know, it wasn't very customizable, but I was probably just having issues with it. I probably just need to look up like a tutorial on how to use it.
Yeah. Okay, do you like my design? Is it busy? So then that's just one. I have to repeat it 3 times. I have to repeat that 3 times and make it in a different color. So I'm going to start with making it in a color.
So, Miss Rad, you're saying that we have to make 3 different designs based off like architecture?
Yes, but they're all the same design.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Different colors. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to just go on the back side. I don't know that I'm on marker paper. It was in the folder, but it seems different. It doesn't seem as transparent, but it goes on nice. So maybe it is, I don't know. It was in the folder, but it wasn't glued on. So I don't know if I threw some other paper inside it. So I've also purchased a lot of those kits online that sell for like, I don't know, 40 to 80 markers for 30 bucks. And I've purchased them and tried them to do artwork, and they work fine. They're not as versatile as the more expensive ones. The more expensive ones definitely blend better, don't bleed as much. But when you're on a budget, those aren't bad. And so I've bought, every time I see a good price, I buy them and try them out. And they're not bad at all. And a lot of times I'll work with clients and they want some color that I don't have. And I'll go to that cheap box of color and I'll find the color they want. So it's come in handy. Okay, so this is marker paper, but it's a little bit different color, but that's okay. It's always an experiment when you're creating something from scratch. So you'll have an idea, but between production and sample making and sending things out and working with vendors that are going to make something for you, it may change along the way. You just don't know. So there's my first color. So I'll have to trace it and then reapply it to another part of the page. So I could use tracing paper. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it. Yeah, okay. And then try to repeat it. But this could take a while. So if I use graphite, there's a couple of ways to do it. I could use carbon paper. I could make a Xerox copy, which is what I should have done. Make a Xerox copy of this, and then I could have made 3 and then colored it. But either way, I'll repeat it. I just don't want to do it and make you have to suffer through it. So now I'm going to create a design. So one of the requirements was you're going to make a front view, a side view, and a back view. So I just grabbed one of the templates. I put all these templates online to make your life easier. So here's one with a back view and a side view. So let's see. I didn't think it through before I did all these things, but I could get like a back view on here and then put my side view and front view on another page. That would work. Or I could get a side view on here because I like her. And she's walking into the fabric. That would work too. Or I could put them all on a separate page. Either way, I think I'm going to go on a separate page because it sounds good. Okay, so I have no idea what I'm going to design. And if you guys want to help me, you can. So I'm going to create with maybe a gray pencil. A nice neutral. A little harder to see.
Miss Rad.
Yes.
What would you want to put that design on? Like, what garment would you put it on?
Well, I've got a top and a bottom to do. So I think I'm going to do this one right here. And I'm going to decide where do I want to put that. So there's so many different ways to go about designing. Maybe you don't want to design right on a sketch first, just little thumbnails, or get some of the fabric and play with it on a dress form. But I'm just going to go for it. So I think what I kind of like the off the shoulder. And if you guys have ideas, just I'll draw them. So let's see, I'm going to give.
This is hard, Miss Rat.
This is hard?
Yeah, because it's such a big print, you know?
Oh, that lace? That's just the design.
Oh, I guess it is lace. Oh,
yeah, it's lace.
I was trying to think.
Oh, I didn't put the mesh
on.
I'm sorry, I didn't put the mesh on, so it's kind of confusing. Sorry.
I see it now. That is lace. That is pretty.
So if I take, let's see, I could use black or white. Now you can see it. I don't have to put the mesh everywhere, but you can tell it's mesh. And if I did black, yeah, I think the black takes away from the design. If I would have done black, I could make it just a little black in some of the areas to pop it up. Okay. So I'm deciding how I'm going to design this. And I'm using the gray. So do I want the lace on the sleeves? Do I want, let's see. So
something's wrong with my Zoom.
What's it doing?
Well, it's only on, okay, it's only when people are talking, it shows me like their face on the main screen. But I've been like double tapping to see if I could get just the drawing to be the main screen, and it's just not working.
When I want the drawing, I pin the video.
Yeah, it's not letting me pin, or
it's not letting
me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave and come back and see if it like changes, but it's not letting me do anything.
Okay, try it again then. Reboot it.
That's happened to me before.
It just
really annoying. Yeah. When someone else starts talking, it shows their picture.
Oh, yeah, it does that. Oh, and then you lose the pin.
Something in the settings that you can fix it, but I've never figured out how to do it.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Let me see if I can fix it. Video settings. It's not there. Audio. Let's see. Join audio by computer. Press and hold space key. Unmute yourself. Mute. Okay, it's not there. No. General. Maybe it's under general. Accessibility. I remember it somewhere when I was setting up. I think I can disable it, but I can't find it.
Oh, Miss Rad.
Yeah.
Charmaine says it's because while it's video sharing, we can't pin the drawing video.
Oh,
I don't know if that helps you.
oh,
Maybe.
oh, maybe because I was sharing the screen. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
she's saying
now.
it's working now because it's not sharing.
Yeah, so the sharing the screen disables everything. So that's probably what it is. Yeah, because I was holding that gate up so I could create the lace. Okay, so I'm going to decide where do I want to put the lace. I think I'm going to put the lace. I don't know if this will be too weird. You guys tell me. If I put the lace on the sleeve and some of the pant, is it way too busy? If I make it, I don't know, it might be too busy. But if I make, where's my picture? So my lace is on the sleeve part, which will make the sleeve transparent. And I'll make the top could be a little transparent, but there's a little bra underneath. And do I want the lace on the pants? Is it going to be too busy? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I've got wild pants and okay, let's see. I think it's okay. I might make this lace in black too. So this illustration, I'll use my black ink pen so I can be just a little bit more detailed. And I had really long fringe. Yeah, I kind of want that long fringe on my hem of my pant. Yeah. So her eyes are halfway. Her upper eyelashes are thick. Okay. And her hair has some wave. I'll put some color on her. Okay, so I'm going to see the scallops on her body, her shoulders. They peek through. And it's a raglan sleeve. And then the bodice is just sheer. It's not. I might make it fitted. It's fitted underneath the bust, but it see-through. I see some sleeves. Okay. Now I've been doing this with, where's that picture? So I can look at that detail and get some of that design. So it might be a little heavy looking on my sketch. I don't want it to look too heavy. That might be an issue as I get all that design on there. So I'm going to go with a little thicker pen. So it's sheer and it's lightweight. The skirt, or they're like palazzo pants. They have a seam. I can see my crotch seam. Koya,
Yep, I'm back.
we think that it quit working because I was sharing the screen when I was showing that gate.
Oh,
I think that's why it was causing problems.
okay. I can see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cute.
Because as soon as I did let go of that gate that I was looking at, it was able to work.
Oh, okay.
So I guess when you share a screen, don't do it very long because it gives you guys less control.
Yeah, because I saw the gate, but I didn't see, I couldn't leave from the gate.
Yeah. So I want it to look light. So it's sheer, so I can see her body under there. So that will help it look. Oh, wait. Her leg is right here. So I can see just a trace of it. Okay. So now I've got the front view. I used that one. I'm going to use this side view. Now this side view is a little bit longer than her. I don't want her to look bigger than her, so I might not make her as long. I don't mind if it looks like, maybe I'll use a different side view. That's not so, yeah, I'll use a different one. So I'm going to use the back view. These are all on the, you don't have to use mine. You can create your own, but they're all on the module. So this one needs a lot of space. I'm going to change one of those hands. I'm going to make it closer to her body, so it's not going into, and I'm going to try to make that a little different. Okay, so how do I want that to look in the back? Maybe I want it to be a little different in the back. I also picked one that has the legs close together, so it's going to be hard to see the pant, but I'm going to try. I can always change one of those pant legs. So I know this is the high hip. So here's her pant having a little bit of drape, and I see the back of her heel. So I could move this leg out. It's risky, it might look stupid. And then decide, how do I want that back to look? Maybe I want to do something different in the back. So maybe I'm gonna have a little lace up in the back. And that lace, or it was sheer, it's going to have a little peekaboo. So you can see the raglan sleeve. You can see her arm. You can see her body. Oh, I was going to change that so it wasn't going into her. I forgot. Now I have a, yeah, now I have a line there that I don't want. In a perfect world. Well, you can always, there are ways to fix it. I mean, if I knew Photoshop, I could go in and just take that line out in a second. And now I'm going to decide, do I want her to look like, I don't, I'm going to move this leg. So I just made it a little bit bent. Now it looks stupid. This is the problem with trying to do it with a sketch. You change your mind and you make mistakes. Okay, so this is going to be the same lace. Oh yeah, it had that long fringe. It's very lightweight, feathery. Makes me remember I was talking about embellishments. I could put feathers on this. Instead of long fringe, I could add some feathers. This one can have embellishments. So now I've got my back view, my front view, and a little side view. I just don't like the hand going up on her head. So I will definitely change that hand. So I have it off the shoulders here. I have it a little up higher, so it can be worn both ways. So I might put it up on her neck here so that you can see it worn both ways. I did put a little bit of shaping, so it's not so. You'll have straps underneath. And I see a little bit. It's a very full leg. I could even lift it up a little so I could see how full it is. Try not to go off the page. And that hand I don't like. So I'll do something different with that hand. Her neck's a little long, I'm lifting it. You okay? So try to make every hairstyle a little different. Maybe this one, I'll put a headband on her and she'll have longer hair. And then that hand I didn't like, so I could move it down. I didn't like it running into her, is why I didn't like it. So I don't like any of those hands. I think I'll just have it down. Try to make it a trapezoid shape. Okay, so I have a little bit of her legs showing. Okay, so now I've got a front, a back, and a side, and I can show the little detail of lace. So probably if I was designing this for real, I would pick something that the lace is not so much work, because obviously it's going to take me a long time to do all that detail. But you can minimize some of your detail when you're doing a fashion sketch. And then I was going to do, so I could do my illustration, do this one in the black since I messed it up there. Do another one in the lavender. So I'm going to offer it in lavender and black, and then one other color. So this is one of the brush tips. I'm not crazy about the brush tips, only because they don't last a long time. That's why I'm not crazy about them. They cost between $7 and $8, and I'm constantly buying a new one because they don't last. You also can't swirl them around for saturation like you do with the Prismacolor. So you're stuck with doing layers, trying to get it. So I'm not making this part of the pant leg sheer. So I can saturate both sides. I really don't know if this is marker paper, but it's not the Benfang. Yeah, it looks okay. So I have it a little lighter. So I use black ink, so it shouldn't smear. There, I see a hint of the flesh. Hard to see. It's hard to see where it was. It's definitely not Benfang because it's harder to see. But it's looking sheer. It's giving that effect I want. So this is incredibly dark. So I usually don't do hard edges on flesh, but I kind of like it today. I love to break rules. It looks fine. I'm just mixing the pale peach into the sand to get just a little bit more color. And letting it dry so that when I go back over it again, I get a darker value, but it's the same marker, just giving me a little bit more depth. So I'm just emphasizing the drape. Maybe even some of that purple in her hair. She has gray hair. You know how some men like to grow beards, like especially this coronavirus, because nobody sees them anyway? I've been doing the same thing with my hair color, not touching it, but it's super gray. And since I'm not in public per se, you guys are the only ones seeing my super gray hair. But gray's real trendy. I watched a hairdresser take someone with jet black hair and turn it lavender gray. And it took all day for her to get the color to lift and to put in the lavender. Looked really good. So that's what I'm trying to duplicate. So I have dark where light can't get in, but some of the bends have highlight. Her upper eye can have a little darker. And I might go in with a little bit of pencil. And a little bit of color for her lips with a piece that broke off. Yeah, just a little fine point. Getting a little bit of flesh. And a fine point micron, just so I have some line variety. This looks like it's more natural. And that line variety now, as I look at my detail, I can come in and put a little line variety. So the thick and thin, don't underestimate how much detail it gives you. When you put in thick and thin, it makes it look dimensional. So I might have that sleeve super detailed, and then some of the other areas, it can just fade away. So yeah, I only put the lace in the sleeves. But it has the fringe. Does this put you guys to sleep? I should have done something.
No.
Should I have done something with less of detail so it's not so?
No.
Okay. So it's got folds in it, so the pattern can be moving through and you don't always see it similar because of the folds. Now I'm using a little bit thicker to get some depth. I could put a little sparkle in it if I wanted to make it more than just lace. I don't know. Let's see. Just keep adding a little bit more detail to some of the. What I find when students are just learning, they're afraid if I keep adding more contrast, I'm going to wreck it. But I think contrast is what makes it pop up. So then you're losing on making it more dynamic. Now, I don't want my lines too thick or it's going to read that it's not lightweight. Maybe some of the curves I could go a little thicker. So just a little bit of black in some of the curves. Just pops it up. It's reading. Okay. So I was going to do black and I was going to do one other color. What other colors should I do? What do you guys think? Let's see. So I got complete black. I could go a little lighter black so I can build up value. I have a whole jar of caps to markers because my markers are always losing their caps. Okay, let's see. I have a French Gray 80. I don't know if 80% will be weird or good. Let's see. Oh, it's not bad. So it's a little warm compared to that lavender. So doing it in black really gives me a lot of challenge because it's not looking sheer anymore. So I may wish I hadn't have done this. I'm not sure. It's making it look a little flat, but I'm not done. I'm going to go on the other side because if I make it look too dark, I'm not going to be able to see any change. So I'm deciding how dark do I want to do it. So I want to see the lace detail, but this is a real challenge because I don't want to make it too heavy. So I could do the detail in ink. So I'm looking at all the details. Has a lovely little vine with the little leaf petals. And then it has another row. And so the shape is moving because there's lots of folds in this fabric. So then I had flowers. And I had some curlicues. And then I had some upside down hearts. And then I had some scallop and lines. And then I had some flowers. Maybe a few more curlicues. So now I'm going to take some mesh, which I buried somewhere. I don't know where I buried it. There it is. I only have about 2 feet. I managed to lose things. Okay, so I can try black pencil. I could try brown pencil, depending on how much risk I want to take for it to show. So I could do, oops, brown pencil, black pencil. That's my watercolor pencil. I'm going to sharpen this. And see what I get. Now, it might be too, see, it's not a real fine tool. They do make finer ones. I left a little bit of white. And I've got a leg under there that I want to show. So let me go back and see, where is that leg? And I even see that leg. Oh, I changed it. Now I remember. I changed it. So the leg is right there. So usually I'll go on the back side and do that leg. It's kind of hard to see it. Very hard to see it. There, and I'm getting the idea that it's there. And then this one, when I can see it, is doing that. So I'm going to take my 10% gray, and I'm going to see what happens when I blend some of it. If I get any kind of dimensional change that I like, I'm not sure. So this is my black marker. So the black is really strong and takes away some of the detail. So that was a I don't like that experience. I might put the brown in there too, just to not lose some depth and detail, because a lot of my detail I'm losing. So I can tell it's netting. I don't know where, there it is. It's okay. I can tell that it's lace. I've lost, the lines don't stand up as well, but I get the idea that it's lace. It doesn't bother me. I might put a little bit of gray just to get a little bit of movement in that black. Not bad. I think it's just all how I want to perceive it. Okay, go back to my picture, add some more detail. So once I put down the tool, I can't do much detail anymore because it's so waxy. I'm constantly cleaning my marker, getting the wax off so it will work. I can always go back over some areas with a white gel pen. That is another alternative. So those white lines didn't show up the last time I was doing them on the other side, not as much as I would have liked. So this side is the side closer to the light source. So I could keep that in mind and let some of the white show. And maybe just a little bit of the brown. So that works too. Looking cool. Okay, so I want this to read sheer. So maybe instead of doing it with the black on the back, I just do a little bit of pencil and I blend some. Not quite sure I like it, but we'll see. I haven't put the flesh in yet. So it's a little darker. I can saturate the back if it's not smooth enough. I want a little bit of flesh to show through. I think that line makes no sense. I don't want long hair. Maybe it'll be a braid. So sometimes creativity comes out of necessity. So maybe it's going to be a braid down the back of her hair. Yep, that works. Okay, so we're going to do some of the lace, looking at the picture, trying to get some of that design. Oops, that's not lace. That is the sheer part. So maybe I will put lace in the back since I messed up. But the front will be sheer because I just messed up. That back, well, I actually put it here too. So maybe I'll make just this part the lace. But this part will be sheer, and the same here, just a small portion of it will be lace.
The trim on the top can always be lace.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was a mistake, but it's okay. I just made it look like the broad top. So all of this has got folds in it and it's draping, so I don't have to be as accurate. Now it still doesn't read sheer enough for me. When I was first learning to sketch, sometimes I do it over and over again because I didn't like the method I chose. Now I don't do it that often. So I gave it a bow. Maybe it'll read better if I put a little shine in it. So her hair and the tulle fabric, where did it go? It's on my lap. So I still leave some white paper. Use the 10% gray marker to blend just a little bit of it. Doesn't have to all be blended. That's the same flesh color. It just goes on darker because it's a darker value. It will dry and not be as dark, but it's creating some light source. So what color hair should I give her?
I think a strawberry blonde would be nice.
Oh, strawberry blonde. Okay, so we'll find a light color. This is parchment. It's kind of a brassy, not blonde enough. Let's see. Maybe a little red. That's a little yellow. So I could put a little, now I could put a little white gel pen over some of that hair where I don't like the color. Let it dry. When I come back, it'll make it a little, and I'll put a little red in it too. Okay, she's got some shoes. Maybe should I make the backs of them red, or you think it's too bold? So I put a little shadow on one side. I still have that tool under there. It's causing it to be weird. Okay, so that's my shoes. Has a little bit of red in it. The hair should be dry now. A little color on top of it. So that's cream. If I want to add a little red to it, do I want bright red?
I feel like a strawberry blonde, so it's like red, more, it's like blonde, but has some red streaks, I guess.
Okay. So it's more like a reddish.
Yeah. Kind of like a red tint, I guess.
My daughter would say, put a toner on it.
So you put white first before you went in?
I put, well, because I had gone over the flesh, I put some white and then I put the cream on top of it. And it kind of softened it up a little bit. It made it a little lighter value of the cream. I'm putting a little red in her shadows. It's very subtle, but I'm a watercolor painter. I like a little reflective color. It just pops it up. It's very subtle. You probably won't even notice it. When I first started doing watercolor painting, I was look at the teacher and go, I don't see any color in that. I don't, she goes, keep looking at it. And I kept going, I don't see it. I don't see it. I was painting the, I'm a really awful student when it comes to driving the teacher nuts. I ask a million questions and I argue. And so she would say, you just have to keep looking at it. Eventually you're going to see it. And I would say, I don't see any reflective color. And then one day I actually saw it. It's like I finally kept looking and I finally saw it. And it's weird how you finally identify it. See, I like it when I get that dark color in and then it fades away. So I just keep layering it because I like that subtle contrast. Okay, you guys, if you want to pick a different color, what color should I do? So this is my pants set. It's got lace in it. My other one had, what do you call it? Some embroidery, some applique.
Do you like a burnt orange or a tan, maybe?
Oh, a burnt orange or a tan. Let's see. This is
nice next to the other two models.
okay. This is a light tan. Tell me what you think. I'll put it in a shadow. You like that, or is it too dark?
You do it like more warm toned?
So when you say warm tone,
like it's orangey tone.
Oh, get more orange. Okay, hold on. All right, got more over here. So you got that 70s vibe. This is called burnt okra. You like that?
That looks good.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah, like, what skin tone would you go with that? Because that could easily wash her out.
This one has a little bit more red in it.
Okay.
That's called terracotta. Do you like that?
That looks nice too.
Okay, so I got these two colors and now my skin tone. Should I go a little darker?
Yeah, whatever doesn't wash her out. So I think if you made her like with a blue undertone, she'll look washed out.
So should I go with the light tan or you think that's too dark?
I think that will look okay because if it's darker.
It's a little dry. I think I'm going to see if I got it wetter. This is dark brown. Okay, let's see. This is light walnut. Now, if I go on the back side, will it make much difference? So far, so good. Okay, so I'm going to see a little bit. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to do the burnt orange terracotta. So I'm going to go on the back side first. I'm going to try and leave a little white. It's dark, so it doesn't go that light, and it's got a little bit of red in it. So it's a little busy, to say the least. I will see if I can smooth it out a little. So I don't know if I have. Move this out of the way. See my colored pencils. Oh, this one's kind of close. So I'm taking a risk. I'm putting down the waxy pencil before I do the lace detail. Could prove to be risky, because once you mix a lot of wax with marker, you just get a muddy mess. So you try to use your waxy pencil when you're all finished, but I'm experimenting. Okay, so far. Now, I think I wanted my pant to be not see-through and just the lace see-through. So this has a nice red to it. This was a little darker, had more yellow to it. So the wax is not giving me a hard time. It usually does, but I'm okay. Sometimes it just gets gummy and the marker will just sit on top of the wax. But luckily it didn't do that. Okay, so I'm going to take that colorless blender. Let's see, or a Deco Peach, if it's not too bright. Yeah, you can. I'm just going to blend some of that tulle. I don't lose anything. I just get some white and some tulle. We'll let that dry a little. Okay, and then I'm going to put more of that rust color on top of this white once it dries. Okay, now my fine detailing. Picture of my lace so I can look at it. And I kind of have it a little different than the lace on the other ones. Not much different, but a little different. So whichever one you make your 3 figures, where you have side, back, and front, keep in mind, if you're like me and you choose the lace, you're doing a lot of detail work. And I could mix up a little white gel pen with this black just to see the detail, because maybe it's not showing up. And I could just add a little bit of white to help it show up. Might go a little darker in some of the areas, gives it a little more emphasis. Okay, so her makeup. I could go brown, I could give her the same color lipstick.
You can go.
What? What'd you say?
You could go like purple.
Lips?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Can you see it? I made a little purple. And maybe I'll give her a little peachier. Instead of a pink, I gave her a little peachier. She's looking more like she's going to a festival. So you can do some nice makeup. Maybe I'll give her the Frida brow. And a little bit of white.
Should we give her a necklace?
Oh, what kind?
Maybe a turquoise necklace. I don't know. That might be hard because there's already orange underneath there, huh?
Oh, it'll work.
Yeah.
When you have like around like a choker?
You
Or
could
a
do
long,
a choker.
what?
You could do a choker. That would be pretty.
Okay, so I added the white just to get, so my, whatever color I do choose will stand out more. Maybe I'll get a little bit more detail. And belly ring, if it'll show up. Might show up. Where I put my metallics. Here they are right in front of me. Wrong pen. So I gave her a little gold. I give her a little silver. Okay. So I put gold. I don't know if it'll show. Always try to get 3 values in the shoes. This one I gave her a strappy gold. Okay, so we're going to put turquoise in there. I could add a little gold. I could add some other color. Help it look and pop up. Okay, so I have a strawberry blonde and a gray with lavender tint. What hair color should I go? Anybody got an idea?
I don't know. I think it would be pretty if you did blue.
Light blue?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to
Pastel blue.
say it again.
Pastel blue.
Okay. So I think I have a lighter blue. Let's see. Trying to get a little bit of line variety.
I love that.
You love that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try and get just a little bit more value change. Whoa. Dangerous. Oh, my thing stopped. I'm telling what it was doing. Oh, well. It's hard to get all the different cameras working and pay attention to drawing. Okay, this one is periwinkle, is it? Yeah, it's a little darker. Yeah, fun. Might put a little bit of that blue somewhere. Just because it makes me feel good. It's just a little reflective color. I'm gonna wish I didn't do it, but I like it. Crazy me.
I want to be her, Miss Rad.
It's funny, huh? Okay, let's see. Now, you don't have to put a background. You could put a border. The children's one, we put a background. So I could do a border just to help define it. I could do it in color. Let's see, I'm doing like a 3/8 border. Trying to make it straight. And then I'm going to try to do the flat. Okay, so here I will make a nice border. Just makes it look a little more professional. I don't want my border to be strong and bulky because I don't want it to take away from the garments. I could add another color. You decide whether you think color makes a difference. I could have done marker. I'm using a pencil on top of a watercolor pad, so it's giving it a little bit of texture. It's not that bad. Could have been on a smoother surface. But I like the little bit of color. Maybe I'll go a little smoother. Let's see. I just go a little bit smoother. This is the periwinkle. Looks more like indigo, but it says periwinkle. Put it on top of my turquoise pencil. Yeah, the marker probably looks a little better. So you guys going to do anything fun for Memorial Day?
Sleep.
Anybody gone out against the lockdown and had some fun? Let's see.
I heard there's a mansion party going on. So
What's that?
Some guy, he's having a mansion party.
Where? Hollywood?
No, I don't know. He's like it's like secret. You have to DM him for the address.
But you heard about it.
Yeah, he invited me.
Oh, fun.
I'm not gonna go.
When I was 19, I got invited to a party at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's house. I think that's the right name. Wilt Chamberlain. He had two names. I don't even know if you guys know who he is.
The NBA legend?
Yeah.
For the Lakers?
Yeah. And so what he did is he had, this is a spicy tale. He had a little posse of friends, men, and they would go around to all the clubs where people were dancing, and they'd hand them a little business card inviting them to the party. And so my girlfriend and I went, and it was this most incredible house. Just to see the house was worth going. It had a moat with a little water thing. um, all the way around the house. So you really couldn't get in that house if you wanted to, because you had to get over the moat. It had the hugest door I've ever seen. It had to be 20 feet, that door. It was huge. And then it was like all his little guy friends and him. And the house was built in a circle. It was like a round circle castle. So my girlfriend and I went exploring the house. And in his bedroom, he had a ceiling. And you push a button and the whole roof opened and you could see the stars and the moons. And he had a Rolodex. So my girlfriend put her phone number and name in the Rolodex. And I'm not kidding, he called her. We never thought he would. He did. And but she didn't go out with him. We just did it for fun. But it was an experience. He had he came out with a book at least 10 years later talking about all the women, and claimed he had 3,000 or so women. I don't remember the number, but I did actually go to one of his parties. It was an experience. It was fun. So then you can go to this party at the mansion and talk about it 40 years later. It was funny. So, okay, we're at 9:05. I could start a flat. We have 10 more minutes. Would you like a break, or can you handle 10 more minutes?
Break. 10 more
Okay.
minutes.
No, someone said break. Who said that?
Alright, it's my boyfriend.
Oh, he wants to be fed. What's his name?
Juan.
Funny. I don't mind stopping, and when we start, I show you how to do a flat quickly so you get more lab time. Would you like to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it's 9:05, 25-minute break. That means come back at 9:30. Does that sound good? And then we'll do the flat for this.
Yes.
Okay. See you later. Mhm.
Instagram break.
Florida the day they locked down, and he got through right before they locked down. So you can do it, I think, without getting caught, but you're not supposed to do it.
Oh yeah, because a lot of my friend just went, like two of my friends just went to North Carolina. I don't know. People been traveling, and I've been on the planes and stuff. So I don't know.
Oh, you have? You're not scared?
Yeah, I fly back out. I fly to Seattle Monday, and then I fly to Los Angeles on June 1st.
So do you wear your mask on the plane?
Yeah, I wear my mask, and I bring like I have the Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
And I just like clean my areas and just kind of keep myself in my space. But there's not a lot of people on the plane.
The last time I was on a plane, I went like 3, maybe 6 days before lockdown. So I just made it. And I don't know why I got a bloody nose on the plane. And it was rough turbulence. So you weren't allowed out of your seat. But my nose started bleeding. And my neighbor that I was sitting next to had all those little Clorox wipes. And I watched him as I sat down. He wiped everything down before I sat down. And so the stewardess wouldn't come. My nose is bleeding. I don't have a Kleenex. And I'm trying to stop it from being like a scary mess. And I asked my person I was sitting next to, can I use one of those Clorox wipes? And I used the Clorox wipe on my nose, and it worked, but it wasn't a very good smell. That was like something you never expect to happen. But now I never travel anymore without some kind of Kleenex in my hand or in my purse. Okay, so I find the destination points so that I know I'm on the right track. And I connect. And then I'll clean it up with my French curve. If you don't have French curve, you cut one out of a piece of paper. I still have my paper one. So if your flats are looking chicken scratch like, come in and clean them up. You can make a ruler. So this will have a center seam, and all of this will be in gray marker. And all of this will be in gray marker. And you'll actually see a little bit of movement there on the silhouette edge, if that's a casing. Okay, so I missed that seam. I forgot about that seam right here. So I'm just going to go back on, line up my I think I might have made that a little bit bigger. Yeah, somehow I made it a little bit bigger. It looks like it matches. I don't know, I'll have to measure it. So measure up the, yeah, you can see how I'm struggling with seeing through the paper. I could use a light box. I do have one. Maybe I'll go get it because it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if the light box makes it hard for you guys. Let's see. I have so many plugs from all these computers. And let's see. Much better. Jewel, did you get your light box to work with a different plug? Now, why does that not match? Let's see what I did wrong. Oh, because that's the back and this is the front. And I used the wrong one. So, did it match? No. Okay. I think I grabbed. Glad I got out the light box. I lost accuracy. Wait, I erased the wrong thing. So the waistline and the, okay, I'm way off. I don't know how I got that off. Okay. And now I flip it over and I double check this side. And that one's correct. Okay. That one's correct. So now I've got my front and my back. No, this is my front. I haven't done my back. So my back is here. I'm going to line it up. So both sleeves of the, I might move it over just a little because I think it's going to be confusing. I'm going to draw another line right down the middle of this one because I think it's going to be confusing if I get those sleeves too close to each other. So I line up the HPS and the access line. I draw the set-in sleeve. It's not a set-in sleeve, it's a raglan. So a raglan means it goes from the armpit to the neck, and a set-in sleeve means it goes to the shoulder to the armhole. But we have no shoulder here. Okay, so here's where I'm going to pivot it, and I'm going to bring it all the way down. And it's going to come here. And I see a little bit of it here, and it's going to, yeah, it's going to really, so it's real important that I make my outside lines and my inside lines different thicknesses so you can differentiate the pattern piece and not get confused where the silhouette ends and where the sleeve begins. And also it'll help me see the sleeve seam is thinner than the silhouette edge, so I won't get confused. So I probably will bring this sleeve in too, because I want to have more room for another garment. Okay, so I have a little fold there. Then my back pant. Now, do you guys think I should put some kind of detail on my back pant? Do you think I should put pockets on those pants? Should I put a pocket for a phone?
Yeah, you should put a pocket.
Should I put it in a side seam or?
Just in the back, like a butt pocket.
So that she could put her phone there?
Yeah.
So should I give it a yoke and put it in the seam, the pocket, so you don't see the pocket? Or should I put a patch pocket?
I like patch pockets.
Okay, so it's got to be big enough for the phone and more rectangle. So maybe, do I want a zipper in there so it doesn't fall out? Or is that uncomfortable? Okay, so now I've got front, back, back, front. Okay, so on a wide leg pant like this, I'm going to put a blind hem. So about every 1/4 of an inch, I put a little dot, and that means blind hem. And it's actually should be where you want that hem to go on the inside. So because it's a wide leg, maybe I won't have it so high because you probably can't get much turned up, because when you turn up a wide leg like that, it's going to get bigger. So it's harder to hem it. So it's got to be a narrower hem. But this is how I indicate a blind hem. I could make it out of a stretch fabric, and then I could have a cover stitch. A cover stitch is about a 1/2 inch away from the edge, and it's 2 rows of stitching. So that is usually an indicator, if it has that kind of stitch, that it is a knit, something stretchy like a jersey. That's what that would mean. So I'm not doing that because this was actually lace. So I actually could show that it had a little scallop. And it sewed onto that seam. Okay, so my inside probably is going to have a facing inside, or I could give it a waistband. I didn't draw any kind of waistband on here. I could give it a yoke. That would make it fit nicer. Or it could just be plain. Now, if it's a woven fabric, like a chiffon or a georgette, it needs something to get it to curve and shape around the hips. So that would mean, I'm going to put it back on here. I put it back on here. That would mean I had it down there. I didn't draw the waist. That was a mistake. I should have drawn that waist. I don't know how I forgot to do that. That should have been drawn. Okay, it would have on the princess line a dart. And then when it comes back to the other side, on the back, that dart is a little longer. Just a little longer because I have a much bigger curve. Okay, so it'd have the darts. Because we're going to do it in like a Georgette or a chiffon instead of a jersey, because it's going to go with lace. Okay, so it's a little dressier pant because it's constructed. It has a little patch pocket. Oh, I didn't put the pocket on there. I drew it. Here's my back view. So should I just do 1 or 2?
I think 2.
Okay. So when you learn Adobe Illustrator, you do this same method. You draw 1/2 of the garment, and then you duplicate it and flip it over, and it does it for you. Okay, so this will have some gathers. So this is lace, this is lace. Okay. Try to make your stitching small and consistent so it doesn't look like your machine's broken. So now I'm ready to ink it. So you want to have a fine line and a thin line. So when I'm drawing this line, it's thicker, the outside silhouette shape. That 8 was not very thick. Let's see. Here's my ruler I buried. And here's my French curve I buried. So you want this line thick, that represents the outside silhouette edge. But you want this line that represents the sleeve seam, you want it thinner. So it's a really thin line. That way I know that's a pattern piece. This is the outside of the garment. So I drew that with a little angle. Do I want an angle? Well, that's what I drew. Guess that's what I'm going to get. It's not a very defined angle, so angles are usually more work, but this one's not too bad. Okay, so then the gathers will be the thin line. So the 0.5 is really thin. You don't really have to put fold lines on it. But my outside silhouette is going to be thicker. My edge is not that smooth. You could get a file like you do your fingers, your fingernails, and make it smoother. So I don't have to be smooth here because this is my lace scallop. This is not a lace scallop. This is a sheer fabric. So it's thicker. So I can tell that's where the sheer goes, and I can tell This is the outside silhouette edge. This is the lace. So the lace, I can put fringe on it so it's more apparent that it's lace. Oh, I was going to have the wispy things, wasn't I? Oop, the sheer does not get it. You carried away, almost did it. So I'm putting some thick ones on purpose so it reads like the outside silhouette. And then I'm going to put some thin ones in there too. So that's my seam in pencil. Some of these were longer. Okay. And then the top stitching. Make sure your top stitching is small. And this one's a little farther apart. Doesn't look like the usual 1/4 inch away. It looks a little bit thicker. That's fine. So once it's dry, I can erase it. Don't know where I put my eraser.
Miss Rad?
Yeah.
On one side, it looks like there's a line where the armpit is, but not on the other.
Oh, here? Because I did it so thin. I could go back over it again. When I erase to, it might look clear. But if not, I'll go over it one more time. I'm using the 005. It's really thin. I do not know where my eraser went. There it is on its favorite place, the floor. Maybe I should design a net that just catches everything that I drop.
I know, I was always wondering if there's something I can do to pick up all of the eraser marks I make.
Oh, well, a really good eraser.
Or I mean, I guess the little like bits of eraser that get all everywhere.
Oh, I was using this little paintbrush and it wipes them all away. These little things. So I used the 005. So one side does look thicker. I'll go back over it. It's really thin. And here it's a little bit more curved. I made it more straight. I could come in and white it out a little. Do not be afraid to use some whiteout. So that looks more curved. I think I'll white out the whole thing, and when it dries, go back in. So they look more alike. And then I have to decide, do I like this bent or do I want it straight? Decisions. Because that little bit of bend's going to cost more money. Or I could make it curved. Or straight. Decisions. So I make it straight. I white it out. You don't get points for making it whited out. Now, do I want a center back seam? That also saves money. So I think about that. So I'll let that dry, and then I kind of didn't make this top stitching very accurate. Here I dipped too much. So I think I'm gonna fix that too. I don't like it. So I'm just gonna white it out. So I'm generous with the whiteout. I don't care. Usually with flats, especially in design, you change a ton of things and you go make a Xerox copy, and the copy looks fabulous. And then you attach it to your line sheet or your pattern card, whatever you're going to use it for. It's not a problem to use the whiteout. Okay. So I'm going to finish this up. You can start your lab and do whatever you want to work on, and I can answer questions when you need help. So everything on the inside, the pockets, the seams are all with the fine line, and only the outside has the thicker line. It's much more accurate to do top stitching with a ruler. The micron pins dry really fast. They don't smear as much as some pins. I did 3 classes yesterday, so I can't remember who I told this story to. Did I tell you the story about writing the company because their ink pens didn't do what they said they did? They said they would get marker out of wood, and they didn't. Or it wouldn't stain wood. I think that's what they said, that it was washable. And I got some on a piece of wood and it wouldn't come out. So I wrote him and told him it was false advertising. Did I tell you that story? No? Well, they sent me a box of pens to tell me they were sorry. I was so impressed. I couldn't remember the name of the company, but now I do. It was Sakura. They make pens. When I draw with the line, I taper it off like a paintbrush so that when I go back in, you won't be able to tell where I took off and where I went back in. Uh-oh, it wasn't dry. It got on the white got on my pen, on my ruler. How did I not get? Sometimes when you're doing a flat, you can actually draw with a pencil on top of this and it will transfer the pencil. Where my, here it is. Yep, it transferred it. And I use my fine line because it's a scene. Oh, that was a whiteout moment. Yep, I'll be whiting that out. Now this is where the zipper pull is going to be. It's about 7 to 9 inches from the waist, depending on, but this waist was lower than usual. Okay, so we've got that. We haven't done here. Now my last one. It's a sleeve seam and a sleeve seam. And a sleeve seam. And the rest are thicker. So I can tell the difference between a seam and the outside silhouette. Oh, I missed that one. So this was a sheer hem. It's not. Okay, so it's a little bit. You can tell they take time and they're tedious. Did you realize I lost connection? Did you realize I lost connection? I didn't realize.
I thought you left.
I didn't leave on purpose. All of a sudden it ran out of battery. So I didn't realize that was happening. So if your lines are really thin, it's easy to tell that it's the construction. So here I made it way too dipped. Okay. I'm going to erase. So if you don't erase your pencil before you throw marker down, it will make it permanent. Okay, so you want your seams to connect to the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to use some gray marker. This is 20% gray. You can either use gray marker or the diagonal lines. Depends on who you work for, what they like. Sometimes if they're printing it and they don't want to spend a lot of money, they don't want any gray marker because it costs too much money. Okay, so this one, our last collection, the flats will be inked. And all fonts will be typeset. They will not be handwriting. It's our last collection and we're a little more professional. Before COVID, they all were inked, all the flats. So think about how much sleep you got because I didn't make you do all those flats in ink. But now your hands hopefully have gotten stronger, used to a ruler. And you've picked up some speed. So you can either do this on a nice sheet of bond paper or marker paper or Bristol board if you like it on a heavier board. If you use Bristol board, you have to use a light box because you can't see through it. Wrinkled my paper. I have been known to iron my paper when I make a wrinkle like that. At least so I can get a good scan that it's not wrinkled. But nothing's crooked. It's all aligned because of my grid. If it's crooked, I know you're not using a grid. Or it slipped when you were drawing it. Okay, it looks like I forgot, which is a very, very common mistake. What did I forget? Can you see what I forgot? I forgot the center back line. And if your pen is not showing, you got to get another pen that will show. So that's a 0.3. It's not as thick as the 0.8. Oh, that was not my back. That was my back. So this was my front. And that's why we have whiteout. And then we make a copy. Now, did I want a seam down my center back? Do I want a seam? I'm thinking about constructing this. Do I want a seam for this bra, is it easier to have a seam instead of a mitered point? So I need to think about that. Just getting this little corner is going to be hard. So I may want to think about that. I may want to just make it straight across because it's cheaper. So there's all these different factors that come into deciding how I want to construct it. Okay. Oh, and I had darts. I don't know why I forgot to add the darts. So the darts won't be in the 08. They'll be in the 005 or the 03. So I put them on my back pocket. This is the 005. So the pocket covers the dart, so you can't see how long the dart is. So that means I either have to get a call-out box to see it without the pocket, or I've got to write special instructions on the pattern card so that it doesn't get made without a pocket. So the pockets, they do have an outside silhouette edge. Maybe I will make those a little thicker. And the side that opens, I could make that even thicker. So it's clear that that's where it opens. I don't remember, did I draw that with ink? I think I just didn't erase it. That was pencil. No, it's not erasing all the way. Sometimes if it won't erase all the way, put a little whiteout on it. So I want to make sure that my seams connect, that they're not floating. So make sure they connect. And then I made an air right here. So white it out. There's my flats for the day. Now there was no, I don't want it, this is not gathered, so I don't want my gather marks to confuse the pattern maker. So I'm taking those out. Just a couple fold lines. And I don't really need a fold line here. It's just confusing. So I'll take that out. Oh, and I missed a spot that has some gray. My back is longer than my front. Makes sense? So it's your lab time. I put a huge dent in your lab time. Oh, you can work on your work and ask me questions. So did it help me putting things on Facebook?
Miss Rad.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of having a issue with something.
Okay.
So I'm redoing something still for my child's collection.
Yeah.
And I decided to do for one of the accessories, I wanted to do like fairy wings. I thought that'd be really cute for kids.
Yeah.
The thing is like when they lay down, like when it's front and back, it looks the same. And I because it's like sheer and it's like it's the kind that's like like a sheet of fabric, so it's really comfortable. It's not the wired kind.
Okay.
I can show you a picture of what I'm going for.
So what's your question?
It looks the same back and front. Is there a way to differentiate the back?
Well,
front?
usually the back is a little higher than the front because of the body. Now, depending on where that's sitting on the body, it could be the same. So the only way you would differentiate, are you talking about when you do the flat?
Right.
Is just when you do the flat, you could just have one a little longer than the other. So you could see the difference.
Because it's going to be the exact same. There's no front to it, That's it.
For the pattern maker, so you get it made the way you want it. So you want to make it clear, because depending on how it's going to fit on the back is usually going to be higher than the front because it's going over your shoulders.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
On her back.
I can't tell. So
straight ahead on her back.
Bring a sheet of tracing paper and try to draw it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just draw it on a larger person. Oh, my kids.
And on here, you see it's connected through her hands. Like it's I wanted it instead to connect on her wrist.
Okay.
I thought that would be more comfortable and she can eat and stuff and still have it on.
Well, let me see if I can find my child template. Okay. This one's a little different, but it'll work. So is it going to go around the neck? Let's see. Is it only in the back? It's not in the front. So is there a front panel or just the back? So it's just the front, the back then, right?
It's just showing the back. I think the back, I think it might be going around her neck.
So are you going to have wings in the front and the back?
It's only in the front. I'm sorry, it's only in the back. Have you seen these before?
Yeah.
They only go in the back.
So you don't really, here's my back. So I don't know. I didn't see it long enough to know what you did.
My hand's just getting tired.
Yeah, I don't have to get it perfect. I'm just trying to get okay, so there's my back view. Okay. So when I do the front, the only thing I'm going to see is it comes back around the wrist. So I might see that. And I might see where it attaches at the neck, where the back. So all of this is going to be in gray. And just where it attaches is attached with a bow. What makes it attach? Velcro?
I was thinking, like, what do you think is the most comfortable?
Probably a tie.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I'll see a tie
Go all the way around her neck.
if you want it, unless you want it to go on her shoulders, like shoulder
I
strap.
think it's more comfortable if it goes around her shoulders.
Okay, so then you have to decide how is it going to attach? Is it going to just be
Like a strap, maybe.
like a strap? So then,
Okay, and then you would see the strap in the front. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, so you're going to see all of this is going to be in gray. All of that will be in gray for the front. And then you'll just see the color of the straps. And then when you come around to the back, you'll see that little bit in gray, but your back collar will be up, and then you'll see the whole thing.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah,
This will all be in gray. Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.